Display custom dashboards on your JobTread home screen to keep a pulse on your business and display your most important information front and center. Administrators can create multiple dashboards and choose which roles can see each dashboard by visiting their home screen. Right now, we're viewing the default dashboard. Click the gear icon on the top right to enter edit mode for your dashboard. Now you can name your dashboard, rearrange the tiles on your dashboard, and even resize each tile for the best viewing experience. We recommend editing the dashboard while you're using a desktop or laptop computer, as the dashboard will then be completely responsive for your mobile device. Of course, we could edit or add more tiles to this dashboard. However, let's see all these features in action when we create a whole new dashboard from scratch. First, let's save our changes and close the edit view on this dashboard. Now click the plus icon on the top right to create a new dashboard. We'll first add a name for this dashboard. Okay, and then we can select which roles in our organization should see it. Now you can share multiple dashboards with a role, and then they'll be able to choose which dashboard is their default, which will display each time they land on their home screen. Now on the dashboard, you'll notice small grid boxes. We will add and move tiles around this grid to build our dashboard. If you'd like to adjust the number of columns on the grid, then you can decrease or increase those columns here. Now let's begin by adding a new tile. Click the plus tile button and then choose the type of tile you'd like. We're going to add maybe an action items list first. This is going to show tasks, to-dos, documents, and anything else that's relevant to today or those that are past due. Now we can click and drag the edges to resize this tile within our grid. The next tile that we'll want to add is the activity feed. This will show our most recent activity from all jobs in a single feed. Now we can also resize and move this tile as well. Perfect. Now we can also add a report tile to see a list of data. When adding this tile, we'll have additional customization options, such as adding a name for the tile. All right, then we can select a data source or from where we'd like to pull this data in. Let's choose documents. Now, if you've already built a custom data view in your documents, or even in your jobs, customer, vendor, or other JobTread directories, you can choose to copy the existing view settings to display on your dashboard. This is going to give you a nice head start, and then you don't need to even reinvent the wheel from something you've done before. All right, so now we can group our data. So maybe I'd like to group my data by the type of document. Next, let's choose the columns that we want to see in the tile by selecting our fields. Okay, so I'm going to add the recipient name. Great, and then maybe I'll also add the due date for these documents. Now this way, when we expand a group, I can see this information. We can also sort our data, so let's choose the due date here. Great, and we can change whether that's ascending or descending. And now we can add filters to choose what's included or what's excluded from this data view. We'll add a filter to just see the documents that are due this week. So we'll choose due date, okay, and is between. Then we'll select today, and then maybe we'll choose 1 week from now. Great. Now we'll hit done to see the tile on our dashboard, and we can resize and rearrange as we'd like. Now, wasn't that easy? All right, now let's have a bit more fun by adding some charts and graphs. We'll click to add a new tile, and then we can choose a chart. First, we'll give the chart a name. Next, we'll select the data source. Remember, this is choosing where the data is located that we'd like to report on. So we can choose from customers, daily logs, documents, jobs, locations, payments, tasks, and vendors. But we'll stick with jobs for this one. Now choose how you'd like to display your data. You can select a bar chart, line chart, a pie chart, You can even choose a table or even a single value number. In this case, we'll just go ahead and choose that bar chart. Now we'll begin to define the data to display. Each chart type has its own unique display options. So first, we need to group our data, which will become the x-axis or the horizontal portion of the bar or line graph, or it will become the sections of a pie chart. So by default, our data is grouped by the created at date field. So it's listing all of our jobs by the quarter in which they were created. Now you can click the little calendar icon to change the date interval as well. So we can group by week, month, or year here as well. Now this list will also include any job, customer, or location pick list custom fields that you've created in your settings. If you'd like to learn how to create custom fields, we have a separate video that walks through how to do so. Now let's go ahead and choose the created at date, and then we will select the month interval. Now we can choose to add additional groupings if we'd like. So maybe I'd like to show all the jobs in each status. Then I can select whether I want the bars to be stacked. For this example, however, let's just do one grouping. Now we can choose the direction of the bar chart. Then we can even select the calculation. Think of the calculation as how we're calculating the numbers to appear on the chart. If we stick with count, it's just showing the total number of jobs created each month. However, if I change this to sum, I can choose the field from which I will calculate an aggregated total, such as the total amount of approved customer orders. Now we see the total amount of approved proposals, contracts, or change orders by when the jobs were created. This field section also applies to the average, minimum, or maximum calculations. In either of these cases, I can also opt into creating my own formula to calculate the data. Now we can add thresholds to track our goals. So maybe we have a monthly goal for approved contracts. So I like defining my high goal first. So if our top goal is to secure a certain dollar amount in approved contracts per month, I can set that as my top threshold. Then I can add my lower threshold to indicate my minimum goal. You can even change your threshold colors if you'd like by clicking on the color itself. Now let's add filters to choose what data is included or excluded from this chart. For example, I may just want to see jobs created this year, so I can indicate that as the created at date, and then choose is this year. Now my chart will continue updating as I move through the year to reflect all the months within the current year. Or we can approach this differently, and we might want to see all of the jobs created in the last 12 months. So we can say that the created at date is after, and rather than selecting a specific date, we can choose months from now or ago, and then add 12 months ago. Now we'll see all of the contracts secured within the past 12 months. You can use filters to truly drill down to the exact data that you're looking for, so feel free to add additional filters as needed using the and or filters. When you're finished creating your chart, click Done to close the pop-up. Now you can resize the tile and move it on your dashboard. Now don't forget to click the Save button periodically to save your tiles and your dashboard changes. Now each dashboard can hold up to 12 tiles, so if you'd like more tiles, simply create new dashboards with additional tiles. Now that we've added a few tiles to this dashboard, let's go ahead and close the edit mode by clicking the X on the top right. By selecting the drop-down menu at the top, we can switch between our dashboards. Also, you'll notice that whenever we hover over a dashboard name, we'll see a small star outline. If you click that star, you can set specific dashboards as your default, which you'll see first whenever you log into JobTread. Administrators also have the chance to access the underlying data behind each dashboard tile. So let's check this out by clicking on the little table icon on the top right of the tile. Now we are brought into our reports section and we can explore the data browser. Here we can see a table of all of our data with the same filters applied based on our dashboard tile. We can also use this data browser to create additional custom views of data. Each custom view that you save here will also populate the custom views throughout JobTread depending on the source of the data. For example, if I create a jobs view here in the data browser, the same view will also appear in the jobs directory. Now, another great feature is the ability to display a dashboard on a monitor or TV in your office. And so if you'd like to do this, you can navigate to your dashboard on a computer that's connected to the monitor, and then click the full screen button on the top. Also make sure that you click that sync button. Syncing your dashboard will automatically refresh the dashboard every 5 minutes to keep your tables, charts, and graphs updated. Now, we can't wait to see the incredible dashboards that you create, and we're always here if you need help. So please contact your success manager or email support@jobtread.com if you have any questions.